All right, welcome back, Coach Rice, who has a new job now, OC, quarterback coach at WJ Keenan High School. Coach, welcome back. Congrats on the new job. I didn't say that earlier. Congrats on your new job.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Congrats to you on your new job, man.
Yeah, we could be stressed together.
Right, right. Yeah, we're both gonna age a whole lot over the next few years now. So
Well, that's what happened when I talked to my head coach about taking it. He was like, Steve, you already do our speed stuff. You're the old line coach. Now, if I put this on top of you, that's so much extra pressure. So we had a talk, and he was like, "Why don't you go do quarterbacks?" And so I said, "Okay, let's do quarterbacks." I've been the O-line coach for a while, and so he was like, "You being the OC should probably be uh, quarterback coach." So now he's like, "You don't have the hardest position to coach now with the O-line."
yeah, that's because then that's a whole other stress in itself, having to do the coordinating stuff and doing the O line.
Yeah,
And
except
that's what's funny to see too. Some other coordinators at universities, whatever, like whenever the OC is a tight ends coach, like at Notre Dame with Denbrock.
mhm,
It's like, dude, you picked the least stressed job to have because all you got to worry about is a tight end,
mhm.
and then you just got to make sure the offense is on the same page. But you're not dealing with the O line or the quarterbacks much.
No,
Obviously, besides coaching them up, but it's easy to hide that tight end though. You know what I mean?
right. Well, we have a guy coming in that is young. He played O-line at the high school, and he helped me out 2 years ago. Then last year, he has a real job, like an outside the school job, like a big boy job. So last year he couldn't coach, but he come to the stats and stuff, and he stay in contact, and he's super smart. So I have to coach him up on like what I've done with the O-line and stuff. So I'll still be involved in the summer of like what the O-line does, and then slowly take my fingers off. My like, hey, I'm going to step back. But what's awesome about him is he's already emailed me things that he wants to do. Like we had a meeting, then the next day at like 9 a.m. Hey Steve, I shared this with you. I shared this with you. This is what I want to do. Like he's already on it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So maybe I can like take back off quicker. But another reason why I'm the quarterback guy is because our quarterback I coached since he was a freshman basketball player. And he'll be a senior, so it's like you have to be the whisperer to that kid because like get his mind right. And I'm like, oh, I'm the old line guy. Like all I know is to yell and say gibberish. Now I got to be like proper and say the right thing all the time.
Yeah, and you always got to be even killed too. So that's the big thing too. You gotta be even killed at all times. You can't be too high. You can't be too low. You gotta always stay the same, whether it's good or bad.
Right. And I coached quarterbacks before, and my first time doing it, I was really young, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun" because it was different. And then my next year doing it, I was like, "This is kind of boring. Can we hit somebody now?"
Right. I don't want to do it no more.
Or like I was like, "Oh, let's have fun." Like the funnest part would be quarterbacks with the wide receivers or whatever. Like, okay, we're gonna practice key screens or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, this is still boring." And I'm like, "Can we hit somebody?" But he just felt like it was best, new offense, changing things, get the quarterback upright and stuff like that, and uh, new things for the running back. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then you never know. Next year he could say go back to the O line and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But yeah, he thought I told him I was like, I could coach. It used to be O line coaches calling the plays back in the day. They used to do it, so I
Yeah.
could still. I was like, I could still do it. And he's like, nah, let's just put you with quarterback. He's like, nah, that's just yeah. Basically, they want me in a bad mood when it's team offensive time. If the offense is O line screwing up down there, and then come into team offense. But I was
Oh
like,
man.
the quarterback could still piss me off. Like I can still come
Yeah.
in a bad mood.
Oh yeah.
I,
You're definitely gonna get pissed off a lot. That's for sure. Like especially the what gets me the most whenever we just talk about a read or a coverage or something like that, and then literally will go out there, whether it's 7-on-7 or team or routes on air, whatever the case may be. and will literally do exactly what you just told him not to do.
Hmm.
Like, I literally just told you that for a reason, and you just did it. And then they're like, "Oh, my bad."
It's either
Like,
my bad or, well, they did this, and then you're like, well, I have the film of it, so I'll show you like
right.
what it
I
is that you
I
did.
don't lie. Like, come on, man.
But my hope is, see, it's weird. I'm in this weird realm of, I'm not going to give away my entire offense if somebody on our schedule is watching because, like, what changes? I mean, football's universal, and I told the kids that I was like, there's things that are going to sound the same because football's universal. Like, if you call it spread, I probably call it spread, something like that. It's just going to be the same. But
Yeah,
it's trying to mesh the, if you're looking at air raid concepts versus running the football, can you practice both? And that's kind of what I'm battling right now. But I was like, yeah, we could still practice your air raid stuff, or how the air raid would practice the receivers and all that every day. Like, that's not going to be a big deal. I believe in splitting things down to each day. Like, we're only going to work on these things this day, these things the next day, put it all together this day, and then start over again. But
yeah,
that's kind of where we're at. Is we used to jam pack it all. Not going to do that this year. It's that's what the kids are worried about. I'm like, nope, it's going to be simple, but you also have to work hard. You have to pay attention. And like I said, I believe in other things that we haven't done, which nothing against what we have done. It worked, obviously. We made the playoffs for the last 2 years, but it's going to be um, different because we all think different, right? Like, if we coach
right.
together and you went off, let's say we won a state title the year before and you went off and I became the OC, well, I have different ways of thinking. So things obviously would change. It's not going to be, I run Coach Rice's playbook. No, it's mine. You kind of change it. So sometimes people could take it personal if they change it, but it's like, no, it's what they know. It's how they call things. Like, I had a staff meeting and they're like, why are you calling this formation this? Why are you calling this? My first answer is always is, it's how I learned it. So this is why I know it. But then
Yeah,
I have a definition as to why it's called that. And as soon as I say it, they're like, that's all we wanted to hear. Like,
yeah,
why would you call this formation green? Oh, because I learned it from two back system and your tight ends on the right side, but also because then the flip flop to that is blue. It has an L in it or something. They're like, okay, cool. That's all we need to hear. And what's the difference between this motion and this motion? This one he gets the ball, this one he doesn't. Cool. That's all we wanted to hear, like, and the first job is to make sure and I assume for you too, the first job is to make sure that the coaches understand it. I would assume.
yeah, yeah. That's been the biggest thing. Like, because we meet. I mean, even like to now, we meet once or maybe even twice a week. Um, go over everything and get like, and we do it virtually because I want them guys to be comfortable and like be chilling at the same time. Like, we always don't have to be at the office, away from our family or homes. Like, we could be at home and still talk and learn football.
Right.
Um, so we'll deep dive on watching film, whether it's from past teams I've been at or whether it's college teams. And I'll just get on there and just start rambling, and then I'll just tell them, hey, whenever y'all got anything or a question or confusion or anything like that, just stop me and we'll deep dive into it and talk about it. And um, doing it like that's been very good so far because, like you said, it is having to coach them up. Um, and not saying coach them up like they're bad coaches or not good coaches, but just to get them on the same, you want to be on the same vibe, same wavelength as a staff. So you kind of got to start it early. And then, like you said, everybody thinks different. So these dudes whenever we start game planning the season, since they know how I think, they may see something completely different. And then we're going to be even better for it.
Right.
And vice versa. They may not be seeing what I'm talking about, but now they kind of get an understanding of what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to accomplish, and what I want to do.
Right.
Because that's even like with our install stuff. Like, we do a 4-day install, but we do it through a 3-week period. So the first week we just do everything's base. Everything's basic. There's no tempo, no motions, no shifts. It's just the basic stuff. The next week we start going into tempo and go playing faster with it and doing a couple different things. And then the third week, that's when we do all of our motions and shifts and all that crap that kind of changes the original concept just a little bit, just because you're moving somebody, stuff like that. So like teaching those guys, kind of stuff that we do different that they probably haven't thought about or ever done before is huge because then it just trickle down to the kids,
Right.
starting with us, you know.
Um, you come into a new school, being an OC, like you said, you're coaching up the coaches. You kind of lay out what you want to do. Did you have to research what they did before and what terminology they used before? And would you keep some of that to help the transition, or is it all let's change it? Or you asking the coaches like, I call it this. What did you guys call it? Which one's easier? I'm easy to switch it, or is it because of what you call in the plays? You have to know it as this, and they have to pick up on it.
Yeah, so I mean, I've known the guys there, like the head coach and stuff. I know where he played high school ball with Kyle Richardson, who's now a coach at Clemson. He was a really well known high school coach years ago. He runs a a style of the air raid. I'm not going to call it the Mike Leach air raid by no means, but it's very similar.
Hmm.
Obviously, they ran stick, corner, inside zone, and outside zone, and all that crap. Um, so I kind of knew what they did, but so it was just a lot of 10 personnel, stuff like that. And then obviously, I mean, you know me for a while, I'm a big 11 personnel guy.
Hmm.
We just sprinkle in a little bit of 10, and then we also do 12 and 20 and 21. And so just get into a whole bunch of multiple looks just to piss off a defensive coordinator, whether we're going to be good at it or not, or win or lose. At least the DC had to stay up longer, having to figure the crap out. So then for me, bringing in my system and stuff, obviously there were like similarities and stuff that we do, but I truly believe in. I learned it from Bobby Petrino from listening to him on an interview. He was on an interview or a clinic or something, and as a play caller, you've got to be comfortable.
Hmm.
You've got to know it like the back of your hand because if you're going through stuff as far as using somebody else's terminology, that's going to be good until the bullets really start flying, and then you're
Right.
like, "Oh shit, what I forgot what I'm trying to do," or "Oh man, I called the play wrong. Now we got to use a timeout." Um, So I learned that from Petrino whenever he went to Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher. Well, obviously, those are two offensive-minded guys, and Jimbo Fisher.
Right.
So Petrino, being a brilliant offensive mind, like way smarter than any of us, like he was talking about how he was having to stay up late hours of night just to study the playbook and have to figure it out. And still, by the end of the season, he still wasn't comfortable with the system. And he was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. So it's just it's just kind of been in my head to where like I got to be comfortable because then if I'm comfortable, then I can teach it and kids can adapt and kids can learn and even coaches can adapt and coaches can learn. And then if whoever does it after me or next or whatever the case may be, I'm sure that they'll want to change it too, even though we're going to have success doing it my way with my words. Um, it's just I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing to where it's I guess it's really like a non-negotiable. Like
Right.
now if you bringing up something new, just and I don't, I've never ran it or I don't got a name for it. Then that's where it goes back to coaching your coaches and they're knowing what your system is. Like they know what you call run game. They know what you call quick game. They know what you call your RPO tags. They know what you call your protections. So then if they see something like, oh man, this is really cool. I think we can do this a whole lot of ways, and it may be more beneficial for us than this other concept that we got.
Right.
So then, what always comes to my head, being a high school coach, is, well, what are we going to call it, and what's the signal for it?
Right.
Because if we don't got that, yeah, we can talk about it all day. But I mean, if I can't signal from sideline to the quarterback, we're screwed. Like, so
Right.
it's just stuff like that that's a little different with it. But it's also a non-negotiable that if you're bringing your system in, just bring it in full go, and don't hold back on it. And whenever you go, because I mean, this happened to me last year. That's why I'm not there no more. Like, went with a coach that was basically married to his offense, and that's it. And I had no idea about it until it was too late. So that also sucks too, especially whenever you're an offensive coordinator. Same thing if he's a defensive coordinator. If he's like, "Oh yeah, come in," and then whenever you get there, it's like, "Hey, what about this? What about this?" And then yeah, you're the head coach at the end of the day. That's what you're known for. At the same time, there's different ways to do it, and I'm in the job I am. So
Right.
if you're not ready to give it up, you might as well just keep
Right. Right.
it, type of thing. And that's where it's been great for me with the head coach I'm with now. I mean, he's an offensive dude, and straight up honest, like, dude, I don't know much about 11 and 12 or anything other than 10. So he's like, you do your thing, you do it full go, and I just want you to be comfortable. So I mean, that's been a blessing to me.
Right. Because I'm a little different because you know the guys, but you went to a whole new school. Me, I stayed at the school, same coaches. So there were a couple things that I changed terminology, but some I kept on purpose for a couple
Yeah,
reasons. One, I was the run game coordinator guy, but I also knew the whole offense to help out the OC because me and him were the only two offensive guys in the building together, so we could see each other during like a study hall or our lunch periods or whatever. So I knew it all. So some things I kept, like, hey, our vertical, because we have names for everything. So that, like, I wouldn't just say stick all the time. Like, there's a word to it. Like, we have you call it whatever. Like, one school I was at, they called Mesh Michigan because of the M. Like, cool. So I believe in that. And so I kept some of those, and I did it for two reasons. One, I know it already because I knew what it
yeah,
was. Two, they know it. So now it helps the transition a little bit to this of, okay, he's calling our vertical play this name because that's what we've done. Now I might change how we run it, or I might change what because I like the air raid. Like, hey, let's call it six. Six. This guy runs a dig instead. Like, you could tag whatever you want. Hey, he's running a post or he's running a comeback, and that's my change, right? Like, hey, I'm calling it this. I'm doing this, but I can tag whatever route I need to on it, and that's the change.
yeah,
Hey, I might keep, or if we already had sale in, but it was a different sale than what I knew. So I showed him, like, this is my sale. It's the Mike Leach version of it. And so, like, I'm still going to call it what we called it, but it's changed. So you guys
yeah,
have to change. But I
yeah,
also went into the meeting and said, hey, I'm going to show you what I want. There's some things, like you said, some things are non-negotiable. Like, you're never going to talk me out of it
right,
unless the kids just absolutely 100% can't do it. But there are some
yeah,
things that I'm not going to be talked out of. So when I presented to him, I put stars next to certain things. I said, these things I can maybe be talked out of, right? Like, but I had what I presented to them, then I had my manual. And the manual had so much more in it. And they're like, are we going to run all those? I was like, no, 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 because there's like 10 run plays. We're not running 10 run plays. I
right,
said, here's our 4 run plays. If we feel like we're going to be more of a run team, we'll add the 5th one. But then I got to make sure I take away 1 or 2 passing concepts away because I don't want this to be boggled down.
yeah,
And I said, so here's your guys' job. When we start going, you start looking at it. I have things drawn up. You tell me, is there something we can bring from this manual over? But if I bring it over, what are we getting rid of? Because, like you said, I don't want to, if we can't say the name, if we can't signal it in, if it doesn't fit into what we're doing, why am I going to plug it in and waste time? Because now I got to practice it. Or I said, this manual is here. Because what if week 6 we're going against a team and these run plays wouldn't be there, but this one would be? Maybe that week we just plug it in.
Yeah.
But have we done similar blocking schemes for this run play that would fit so where it's not crazy? So like if we're running counter, but for some reason counter is not there and you want to put in trap, cool, because up front the line don't need to know much more. Like they're like, okay, this part is here. If inside zone's not there, cool, maybe ISO's there. Okay, then we'll switch it and we'll adapt. But we're not going to constantly start making these changes. But
Yeah.
here's like what my system is. Here's the beginning parts of it that I want to do. Now, if we get through it all and we want to add one more passing concept because they get it, let's do it. But we're going to have a conversation. We see a cool play. I'm not against Twitter and Instagram. Oh, there's this cool play. It fits into our 10 personnel 11. I've done it so many times. This fits into it. Hey, we run wide zone, but look what they did here. They had this little wrinkle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you have to practice it. Now you have to tell the kids this is what you're doing. Now, once in a while at the high school level, you might have those kids where you can draw anything up in the sand and they can go do it. We've all been a part of those kids. But how often does that happen? Once every 7 years, 6 years for most of us. So cool. I'm out for, I mean, if a coach says, hey, look at this on Instagram that Dan Casey shared, like, here you go. Cool. I love this play. It will work this week. But what are we replacing it with? What are we taking out? That's going to be my mentality the whole time is embrace the boredom. And then the question became in the meeting, well, what if they do this? And I was like, I love these questions. What if they do this to me? Here's my answer. I already have the formation and let's out formation them. Maybe I have to shift. Okay. Maybe I play action it. Maybe I RPO it. Like there's always going to be that answer. And that's kind of my mentality of going into it is here's my non-negotiables and I separate them. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what you can talk me out of.
Yeah. And that's that's another thing, I learned from listening to Paul Johnson as well, obviously. Two completely different offensive thoughts between me and Paul Johnson. But
right.
Dude's still a freaking genius. And a lot of coaches in today's world, like you said, they'll see something on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. Oh man, this is badass. We have to run this. We have to do this. That's fine, but if it breaks, how are you going to fix it?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got to have an answer for everything in your offense, and not a lot of people do that because it's just the way the world's going anyway. Just so easily influenced to seeing a result of one thing. Well, that's like, okay, let's talk about it. That's like the crunch concept in the work game. It is a great concept whenever you look at it for one or two plays. But if you break it down into a whole breakdown, it's really the cost benefit analysis of it really is not beneficial for you to run that concept because you're going to do all that crazy moving and stuff, and it's going to average you like 3-something yards a play. So it's just, and not a lot of people do that. And that's what we do as a staff. If we see, say North Texas, because I just did it with them. North Texas broke down their offense from 2024 because they did a couple things that I liked, and I was like, okay, well, let's look at it from a whole perspective of the season. Did they just do it in this 1 week, or did they do it through the whole season?
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure out the games. Let's figure out the down and distance they did it, and let's figure out if it's actually beneficial to use it or if it was just a damn good play that was a one-time thing.
Right.
And I think the more that offensive coaches start doing that, then the better off they're just going to be as a whole because, yeah, it's going to look cool. But at the same time, dude, you come up with some pretty cool stuff in your own system.
Right.
That you already got. Like you said, like throwing in motions and stuff, like you come up with the craziest motions in the world and be over there looking like Matt Canada, and it's all the same system. And you're still using your plays that get you the most bang for your buck, if you will, as opposed to installing something that you've seen that's a one time thing, and then you've got no built in um, add-ons to it, or you don't know how to change it or make it look any different because it's just what it is. It's what you saw, and then the other thing is, do you even know how to fix it if it breaks in the middle of a game? And
Right.
like if you're going to that for a concept, well, oh shit, what happens whenever it breaks? You know?
Right. And I started laughing when you brought that up because I remember the Lions offense the last 2 years. Like, love watching them. They have cool things. But if you look at it, they ran crunch a couple times. But again, did they run it every 8 plays or did they run it once a game, maybe twice a game just to give them some look? And then the next game they don't run it at all. Then the game
Yep.
after that, maybe they go back to it. But that's because you game planned, and if it is a tweak into what one of your run plays is already. And now it's the NFL, obviously, so you have to be kind of careful when you watch NFL because that's their job, right? They have to, even in college, like I have to be careful. That's why I love watching, like obviously you like watching Lane Kiffin and the Alabamas and everything else, but I like watching, like you said, you broke down North Texas. I love watching those schools because they don't
Yeah.
have that. They really have to gameplay in that. So, like, okay, on your outside zone, do we just want to fold block twice and give it that look? Like, is this a game plan thing? But like you said, if you see the crunch play and you go, this could be one of our run plays. That's not a run play. That's like a system, right? Your system is counter. Your system is, do you have two gap scheme and two zone schemes? And
Yeah.
like, if you want to learn how to do counter, watch Lincoln Riley. Like the counter stuff for him, that's what you want to do. Awesome. Now, because he runs it so much, he knows what's going to be taken away from it. So, what's his tweak per game plan? And
Yeah.
that's the mindset. Because I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of seeing a play and then being like, "We have to try this," right?
Oh, we all are. We all are.
All of us.
Because we see it and we're like, oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
like that's badass. And then you may do it at practice or something. It doesn't really look very good, but hell, you don't even really know how to coach it up or make it perfect. So then it's just like, oh, because I mean I've done it before. Like whenever they were running the like fake jet sweep, and then they was in like a bunch set, and they was running GT the other way, and then like pitching it to the receiver on it. Dude,
Yeah.
we ran that play in practice like 15 times, and it just was shit every time. We was
Right.
getting blown up in the backfield every single time. Linebackers wasn't flowing. Nobody was moving good. Like it made our regular GT look like crap.
Well,
So then I'm like, oh man, okay, just scrap it. Just scrap it. Like, dude, it looked so cool. I was so happy about it. And I was like, okay, just throw it away. I can't do it. Can't take it.
like you said, like you said it perfectly. That play looks cool. Maybe it does fit a little bit to what you're doing anyway. Like you said, is this a variation of this? Cool. But like you said, if in practice, well, when I watched it, the linebackers did this, but this isn't happening. So when the play doesn't work, how do I fix it? Well, it's like now you got to reach out to that coach, try to figure it out, but you're in mid-season, they're in mid-season, and it's like
Yeah.
you're never going to get the answer. Like right now, you get the answers. Like you could message that coach, hey, you ran this play. What was the counter to it? Like, what? How did you? Whatever. But when you're in mid-season, like that's not happening. And so, like, I even told the assistant coaches, I had coaches' expectations too. Like, hey, and I told them, number one, this is on me. Like, my expectation for myself, what I expect out of you guys. One of the coaches is older than me, so I'm not going to disrespect them and be like, you know, I said, one of your guys' things is to make sure I'm not being stupid. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, if I come to you with a play like that, you have to put me in my place. Like, you might love the play, but put me in my place and say, Steve, what about that? Like, I want you to come after me and tell me that, like this isn't going to work, or like those answers. Like, that's part of your guys' job. And if you come to me with a play, it's my job to tell you the same thing.
Yeah. And then like also going back to like what we was talking about with adding play here and there, whatever. Like a lot of the coaches too, because I'm guilty of it as well. Like we don't even think about the sequencing of whenever that play was called. What was this like?
Hmm.
What were they doing this whole game, this whole quarter before setting up this one time play?
Hmm.
They're setting up this concept. Like that's another thing too that we easily forget about. Like what obviously is a part of their game plan, but what in their game plan led to this being wide open, this being just a perfect call. What what led to that? You know?
Right. That happened this year. We watched. It was going to be the game I was calling offense for last year, and we kept watching, and we were seeing what their backside corner was doing on some things, and we were like, "Oh, let's set up this trick play." The blocking scheme up front was the same, and certain things, this motion was the same. Let's set up like this throwback, like because the corner would always come in tight with the motion. Let's get him to like move, and we get to do this throwback thing. So we practiced it. I'm in the game. I'm calling offense. I knew that was in my back pocket. The corner didn't do what we thought. He stayed put the whole time. So I'm like,
Mm,
well, we just took it all away. And we just spent all this time in practice, whether it was 10 minutes for that week. That 10 minutes could have been used for something else that we were doing.
right.
And then I realized though we didn't need to do it because we were getting 4 to 6 yards a clip running the ball, and we were getting 6 yards a pass. So I was like, there's no reason for me to call a trick play. There was no need. And so after the game, the OC was like, "Did you call this play?" And I was like, "Nope, I didn't have to." He was like, "Oh man, that would have been such a cool play." And I was like, "Yeah, but this happened, this happened." And that's my I told the head coach, that's my philosophy. Like, I have cool stuff in our offense, but if I go into a game and we're just running straight run plays and we're getting 4 to 6 yards a clip, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't care if we've practiced it. Cool, we practiced it. I can use it next week or the week after. Or,
Yep.
2 years ago, we had a shift package where it was no huddle shifts. We practiced it every day. We didn't use it until the first round of the playoffs, not one time. So that first round of the playoffs, we were in a bind. We went to it, and their defense did not know what to do. And I was like, see, that's the type of stuff I like. Does it fit into what we do? If we don't have to use it the entire regular season, we don't use it. We wait till the playoffs, or we wait till our rival game. We wait till whatever. And so that's what I told him. I was like, going into week one, I'm going to try to have this in. But if I don't have to use these misdirection stuff that I have, and we're just running straight stuff, I'm not going to do it. You
Yeah.
know, let the defense think I'm going to do something with those motions, but actually not do it. And we go play them. They've practiced it now, but I may not actually do anything with it until I have to, until we play a
Yeah.
team that's forcing my hand. But like you said, then that comes down to having the answers, right? Like, do you have enough bullets in your belt to call it? Like when stuff starts happening, are you going to panic? Are you going to? And I think also the worst thing is when you sit there and think about the play. The play's dead. You got 40 seconds, and you're standing there thinking, like, no, like you got to go, right? Because if you start
Yeah.
thinking, then the quarterback and these 16, 17-year-old kids are going to start thinking, and you don't want them thinking because once they
Right.
start thinking, shit hits the fan, and you don't need that. You don't
Right.
need them thinking because then they'll start telling you what to do, and you're like, oh no, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You guys can tell me when defense is on the field what you're seeing, but during the series, don't tell me what to do
Yeah.
at all. Um, you might have answered this already. You knew the head coach already, but like you said, he may not know some of this. How much selling did you have to do for the offense, or was it just more of, hey, this is what I want to do, and he was all for it? Was there much selling to it, or was it just, hey, we know each other, you kind of know what I'm about?
Really, just the reputation of it just kind of sold itself. To be honest with you, the only thing that I really had to do was go over there. I went over to the school, met with him, and it was like three of the offensive coaches, maybe a couple of defensive coaches. They were just all in there hanging out, chilling, and just got on the board and started. I said, hey, what y'all got any questions or anything I can show y'all or whatever it is, let's just ask it, put it up on the board, talk about it. That's basically all it was. And did that, just drew up a whole bunch of different stuff and like drew up the personnel chart and drew up the plays, concepts and um, why do we run these certain concepts? Well, because they're all married to each other. They're all, off of each other. And I think the interesting part of it was, I mean, I'm an air raid guy, but I've also like sprinkled and dabbled with like pro style concepts into it. So so we dual concept everything. Um, so like if we run stick to one side, we're not going to run the same thing backside every single time. It's going to look so different. So we may run stick to the front side, but backside, I've got something that is either an alert or it's a one high beater or two high beater, or it's a game plan matchup thing. So then that's where we get into all our 2-man and 3-man concept. So that's where kind of like the pro style gets sprinkled in and mixed up with the air raid. And like you said, you got to practice it. So then really it comes down to your game plan because you're going to have like volume wise, we've got a lot of volume just in our whole system, whether it's formation, but the way we do the formations, we do formations as far as a R and a L, but then we also do like tags to it. So if I want to get into tight end wing, it's just a tag off of our R or L now.
Mm.
Just that way, it's not a lot of verbiage there because it is a lot of verbiage in our like down the field throws. Play actions ain't much, protections ain't much. And run game isn't much verbiage. And then whenever you get into your tags, because we use our tags both in the quick game, the downfield game, and in the RPOs. Um, so it looks like we're running 80, 90 different plays, but really we're not. We're just tagging everything and just making it look a million different ways. So that way the defense got to stay up. So selling it to them like that just really made it simple because I mean we got athletes all over the place. Like there's no drop down from our starting receiver to the bench warmer receiver. They're both the same speed. Like
There you go.
it's crazy. The only difference in the receivers is just the height. Um, like there's one that's 6'4" and there's one that's 5'8". And there's everything in between. Like both H backs are 6'5" or 6'6", and one of them's got a 4.2 GPA. The other one has a 3.0 GPA, but he's a hand in the dirt type of kid. So
Mm.
um, it's just putting it to them with that personnel and showing them what all we could do off of it. And I basically went on one sequence too, starting with a run, leading to an RPO, leading to a play action pass, and leading to a downfield throw, and how it just all kind of married up together. Um, and so just selling it that way, yeah, I guess, but it was really just getting on the board and talking through it and answering any questions they had. They realized how, I mean, it's a college offense, but it's so simple to do just because I know how to practice it, I know how to install it, and I know how to teach it. So now all I've had to do since then is just coach up the coaches and the players as well. Whenever we've been in our March days and all that stuff. So
Right. Um, you talked about having like your pass play has a front side, back side, obviously, like every pass play, most likely. What determines whether it's a front side? Like, do you switch the front side? Is the front side always this side, or is it based off formation? Like,
same way the pros do it. It always goes to front. It always goes to your tight end, or in our instance our H back. So it always starts basically with formation strength. Is basically what it starts with. So the first word is always formation to the formation, and then the second word is always backside. because then we install everything as concepts too. Like not we don't install um like X. You need to know what you got on this play. No X. You need to know what the slot has, what the H back has, and what the Z has. Um, so that way we can get into a whole bunch of freaking formations, but we're all in the same personnel, and everybody knows what's going on.
Right.
So yeah, so we go to the formation street. The reason why I do it that way is to eliminate terminology is in having to tag to a receiver. Because then if you tag in your slot, but then you're having to tag your age at the same time, well, you're just adding words and verbiage.
Right. Because
You know what I mean?
I was thinking of like air raid, because your air raid, I've studied it. You probably know more than I do because I kind of lean towards Mike Leach's way. But watching people describe it, they're like, yeah, when we call stick, we call it Y stick, right? Like,
Yeah,
so we could go, Mike Leach's is ace, right? Like ace, Y stick, but they can go ace, H stick. So now the whole play is switched, like the stick and the verts on this side, double slants on this side. For some high school kids, that might be a lot, like, hey, I have to know backside and this side.
yeah,
So that's why if it's formation strength, like if you go ace left, let's say in high school terms, like, hey, ace left, and that spread terminology, stick, well, they know these two always have this, these guys have this. Maybe your outside receivers, if they don't really move, they're the ones that have to know what they're doing, but they know, hey, if the Y's on my side, I've got this and
yep,
that. And then the problem becomes, can the defense figure that out? Like, oh, he's always this. But in my mind, I'm like, cool, you may think but what if we go to this and motion to here? Are you really going to know what we're doing? And then what if I call a run play? You're so worried about the damn pass. What if I run the ball
yeah,
or RPO it? Or, hey, it might be our quick game, but I'm play actioning it, like just a quick flash fake just to freeze you for a second. Like, so that was one thing that got brought up for mine was because I believe in, like you said, the Y or the H is your designated like front side formation. That's what I'm doing. But that was one of the questions was like, well, is the defense going to pick up on it? And I'm like, maybe their defensive coordinators picked up on it, but you're going to let that 16-year-old, is he really, unless he is a stud, which happens, but okay, they figured it out. Cool. So I'll call something else, or I'll
yeah.
eye candy. I'll do an orbit motion or something.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about like with how we do it with the concept wise. Because say that we're just in 2x2 and my H is to the right. We've been running stick that way the whole night. Well, all we got to do is just put stick as the second word, and then it's going to the left side, and we're in the same formation. So now all it is technically the formation strength is going to be the tag side
Okay.
because we're gonna put stick second. So if you wanted to run whatever double post or curl flat or post wheel or even if you wanted to marry it up a corner to the backside, like you wanted to run a snag concept back there, um, just all you gotta do is just change the sequence. And besides it, stick being the first word, stick is the second word, and now we're going to the weak side, stick first, and then teach it so that way the running back knows that. I always tell them stick is a three-man concept. So if we're in 2x2 and stick is called, you've got to go to the formation strength. Same way that we teach the run game, on if we're going power to the left, this is the name for it. So you need to line up on the right side.
Right.
So that way you can go crossface. If we want you to go on the same side, then we're going to give you this tag, and that's put you on the same side. Um, so then like what you were saying, then you don't have to worry about anybody catching anything up because now we could throw the whole sink at them and they're not going to know, but nothing changes for our kids.
Right.
All we're doing is we're starting on the left side. I
Right.
guess in a sense, it probably puts more on the quarterback than it does anybody.
Right. Which that's supposed to be your guy anyway, right? Like you have to know the offense anyway.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, because I think a lot of people water down quarterback play now. I think they really do because like those kids are actually freaking smart.
Hmm.
Most of them. Now, obviously, you're going to get some of your ones that are, but most of them like are dying for that. Like with how we do split concepts. Like game plan this week. If it's one high, I want you to throw it to this side. If it's too high, I want you to throw it to that side. Or this week, I may call this to the formation string, but I don't want you to look there first. I like because I'm really liking what we're getting backside in this formation or look. And like putting all that on them is a lot, but at the same time, it teaches the kid like we got the pen last, we got the marker last, so like we're good. I just gotta trust what my coach is saying and stay with it. And like I said, whether you're doing a one high, two high thing, or you're doing a leverage thing, or whatever the case may be, it's just it kind of gives that quarterback confidence. He's always going to be right no matter
Right. And maybe this is kind of what we have to build into our system is then can your backup quarterback do it if the main one goes down? And then next year, can your new guy, if there is a new guy coming in, can he do exactly what you're asking? Or is it adaptable? Like you said, can you change what they read? Maybe this guy's
what.
really good at reading two high, one high. What is it? Maybe this guy's more of is it capped, uncapped? Is this guy more of a 1, 2, 3? Like, look, you don't have to change your passing routes up, but you're like, hey, we're going to read it this way this year. Is it
Yeah,
adaptable to what you're doing? And that's the kind of fun part is coaching is we did it this way. Then the next year, yeah, we're going to keep the terminology the same. We're keeping the plays the same, but maybe we got to change how we read it. Like receivers, you don't do anything different. You're running your stuff. But
yeah,
quarterback, maybe he has to do 1, 2, 3, get rid of the ball, or 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's kind of why I liked the air raid concept because right now I'm going to teach it like, read this 1, 2, 3.
yeah,
But what if I come in and my guy's better at reading people? Cool,
yeah,
we'll switch it. Like you're going to read this guy still looking in this window, but like if these two do this, you're throwing it this way. And so that's what I'm doing with my quarterback right now. And once we start getting into it, what can he actually read, right? Because
right.
last year we asked him to read people, like when he drops here, do this. Sometimes we were really good at it. Sometimes the first read was wide open. He didn't do it because. So now that's why I may go to, hey, pre-snap is this. If it's a 2 high, your pre-snap's this. If it's a 1 high, that pre-snap's taken away because that's not what it's for. Then you go 1, 2, 3. And if you're athletic, 1, 2, 3 ain't open, you better run. Like take off because you're athletic, make a play.
Yeah,
Or take your shot and throw it out of bounds, and we live to fight another down. It's going to be coached a little different. And
yeah, because we've had to change our reads and stuff up. Like because at Ashland School, the first quarterback that we had was more of a running quarterback. He was just a freaking athlete. Like he could sling it, but he just wasn't, the most accurate quarterback or whatever. So we taught him a lot of leverage stuff, a lot of, this is your man. If he's doing this, you throw it here. If he's doing that, you go there. And then the next quarterback we got was he was still a running quarterback, but he was more of a pocket passer.
mhm.
Um, so we was able to teach him, all right, if it's one high, two high, you go to this. If it's man coverage, this is what you got. This is what you look for in cover three. This is what you look for and whatever. And we was able to do that with him because he was freaking genius, but he also was just a student of the game with it too. Um, so it kind of set him up for him going to college with it. And um, so yeah, we've had to change it a lot too. And like you said, that's the beauty of being a coach is that it can all be the same thing. We may just have to tweak it.
Right. Or this may happen to some, and if it's happened to me, you get a quarterback that can't sling it but can run. So now maybe you have to be more of a running team. Like, can you figure out? We do have to do more tight end, maybe 12 personnel sets, tight end wing sets. Maybe we have to do
Yeah,
more jet sweeps. Still sprinkle in your short passing game, but maybe he just can't throw long passes without this. Cool. Then in your system, quote unquote, is it Can you adapt it to this? And that's where I had my manual set up where if this ever happens, cool. Get rid of some of this. We plug in this. Then maybe that kid doesn't come back out. We get a quarterback that's more of a quarterback that can throw it and maybe move a little bit. Then we just switch it back in. Like, hey, cool. We're not going to do as much tight end wing this year or two running backs. We can go back to 10, 11 personnel. Cool. Does it fit into what you're doing? And that's kind of where, especially on Twitter, I'll put spread in quotations because it's like, what defines a spread team? Is it because you're in gun? Is it because you're in 10 personnel? Whatever. If you want to call it whatever you want, but
Yeah.
if for you or for me or for the staff, this is, hey, we're a spread power run team, we're a spread passing team. Just because it's a spread run team doesn't mean you're not passing it. It might be called that because you have a running quarterback. It might be called that because of this. But that's why I respect wing T coaches because that's like their system. I respect Veer because that's their system. They have the answers to it. In a spread world, you have to be careful, like we just talked about a little while ago. Are you plugging in plays just because it looks cool? It's ran out of this, it's ran out of this. Or do you actually have what you want to do? Like if you're a spread GT team, awesome. You're a spread inside zone team, awesome. But as long as you know what you are, it's easy to coach to the coaches and easy to coach to the kids. Is it adaptable week in and week out and year out? Then you have a system. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're trying to get to right now is let's not change a lot. Let's have things here. And it'll be there if I leave. Let's say next year I leave and the head coach has all that stuff and he likes it. Continue to use it. I don't care. Like, use it.
And that's the same thing. That's the same thing at actual school. Whenever I left, the guy who was doing receivers and he did quarterbacks that last year for me. So then I was basically just floating around. But then he ended up keeping the system. Same thing. He tweaked it here and there as far as they use more of the tags than what I was using there, so on and so on, and kept it there and shoot, they're still rolling. So that's the beauty of it. Like I said, it looks like a whole lot of volume, just like you were saying, but there's years to where I switch this out for this, and this comes in and takes that place, and there's years to where, we got a whole sheet in there, but we only use this much of it. Just being versatile with it. I think that's big on us as coaches is because I think you still, in today's world, you still get to coaches that this is what we run, this is what it is, doesn't matter who we got, who's coming back, this is the system that I got, this is what we run. Well, all right, if it doesn't fit, I'd rather tweak it and go 10-0 than struggle and go, 3-7.
Right. That's kind of where we are right now. Our quarterback's athletic, so he's going to have moments where he can run it. And that's what we're going to live and die off of. Now, if I lived and died by that next year, we get a quarterback that cannot make that defensive end miss, cannot do this, but I'm forcing him to do that. That's a disservice to everything. Maybe he's more of a pocket passer. Maybe he's more of a, hey, I can fake it like really good. Okay, then maybe we're a play action team. You're really good at faking it. We're going to become a play action team, an RPO team. Give you an out to hand it off or just throw it. Maybe you're not running. And that's a very simple tweak, but some would do that. Like I've seen so many teams get in a pro style or something. They have a quarterback that comes in that can just throw it wherever he wants, but they live and die by it's a pro style. We're running it. We're doing this instead of him. And I'm like, man, that kid could really thrive in throwing the ball 30 times a game. But you've held back on it, or a kid that can really catch. Well, what disservice are you doing to him by always blocking? Like if he can catch, just toss it to him. So I never want to be put into that position of because you never know when that kid's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a freshman, and you're like, oh, that kid can't do it. Then his junior year, all of a sudden, he's 6'3" and can catch, and you're like, oh, I got to tweak this a little bit, or it's things like that, and to have fun with it. I'll have personnel groups where a lineman goes in to be a fullback and block. Like it's going to be fun. That's going to be his dream. Put in a defensive tackle and say, we're on the 2. Your job is to just blast through the line and make a hole.
Right.
And it'll be a personnel group, and I might yell, I might yell their name. I don't even care. We can call it whatever you want. And if he only knows that one thing, it's good. Like, we can have fun with it.
Throwing some tackle passes like the Lions did. all,
Oh,
all that stuff.
So one of my, I don't know if it was a downfall, but there was, I can't remember who did it. It was like maybe a Division III school. They did a pitch back to the tackle. So they were near the goal line. They threw a quick hitch. When the ball was raised, the tackle comes back around and they toss it to him. I put that in for one of my senior linemen. And it was going to be the perfect week to call it. It'd be like week 8. We have not done it. We've practiced it. He hurts his arm during the week, so now he comes in. He's still going to play, but his arm is like taped up straight to where he can't really do that. And I'm like, oh, you can't call it because you're going to try to do it one-handed and tough kid. Like, I thought he couldn't play with his arm being straight like that, and he was like, no, I'm playing. And he played linebacker too. He goes, this ain't going to stop me. But then he's like, can we call that now? And I'm like, no. And then the next week, his arm was better. We called it, receiver drops the pass. And I'm like, okay, this is not meant to happen.
Right. This is not meant to be. I'm so sorry.
Because he was converted running back to a lineman his sophomore year. So his senior year, I tried to come up with ways to get him the ball in the backfield. Like, hand it off to him, get a running touchdown. You deserve it. You made the sacrifice for the team. I shit you not. 3 times, or he got the ball 4 times. 3 times got in the end zone, and they all 3 get called back, like throughout the season. The 4th one, nobody decided to block, and he gets mauled. And after that one, he goes, I don't want the ball anymore. I'll just block. He goes, there's a reason why I went to O-line. I don't want to be hit like that. And then tried it last year, same type of thing. Another converted running back, put to lineman. He was my center. We switched it out and we said, hey, we're going to try this. We hand the ball off to him. Fumbles the handoff and then lands on top of it. I'm like, oh, good Lord. So then we get back to the 1. We put him at quarterback to do a quarterback sneak under center. Fumbles the ball again, but then grabs it in the end zone. And I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I've tried 2 years in a row now to get a lineman a touchdown. It's never again.
That's hilarious.
But again, we had fun with it. I was the run game guy, so there was a name for it. Like, a certain name moved the people around. And I remember screaming it, and the center was like, oh, he does this. He's like, it's going to happen. And then we had Huddle Sideline, of course. So he goes, I didn't fumble it. What are you talking about? I pull up Huddle Sideline, and I zoom in on him. I'm like, look at that. You're like, blah, 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 blah. And we practiced it and all for weeks, taking the handoff. There's a phrase a coach told me a long time ago. When the lights turn on, that's when you find out if they're ready to play or not. When those lights turn on, are they blinded or are they good to go? And he was blinded in that moment. And I was like, that was one of the moments where I got on the headset to the head coach. I'm like, please don't fire me for trying to do that. And that's when the head coach is like, I ain't firing you. We ain't just doing this fancy shit no more. He goes, just hand it off to the running back next time. And I'm like, you got it. Because he's big on the goal line. If we do some fancy stuff in the goal line, we better score. If we don't, never again.
Yeah, right. You gotta keep your red zone efficiency high.
Well, our head coach is simple. He was like, if I was the OC, we'd be I formation, just running the ball. He's like, but I want you to do what you want to do. So that's what makes him cool, is like, he knows he's a defensive guy, but he's like, that's why I would do this. But he's like, I want you to do what you want to do.
Right.
But he told me that this year. He goes, but if you get fancy in the goal line, I'll take over play calling anytime we're inside the 10 because we're just going to run the football. I was like, you got it, man. I won't get too fancy.
Right.
I have a trick play to score on the goal line, and I show him what it was. Well, first he was like, does it involve running the football? I was like, it does. Don't worry. And I've already shown him, and he's like, all right, as long as it's not passing. And I was like, "But I want to call mesh on the goal line, man. It will work every time."
Yeah, that's what we do. We run a whole lot of mesh traffic right there at the goal line.
I was like, "What about?" I was like, "Mesh, a pick play, and then some type of run play." And all he heard was run play, and he goes, "Show me that one." He's like, "Show me that one." Well, coach, I've taken a lot of your time. I appreciate you coming back on here.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you having me. I always love getting on and talking ball with you, dude. It's always fun for sure.
Yeah, I've got the 3 dogs looking at me, so I think they're trying to tell me something. But I appreciate you coming back on here, coach.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. We'll definitely stay in touch.